Are you ready to embrace love in a way that truly transforms your life? Are you ready to elevate your relationships and truly step into your power? Well, we are going to be talking about next level feminine energy. Stay tuned as we kick off season 2 of the Secret Formula of Femininity. Welcome to the Secret Formula of Femininity for women who want to live a more feminine, fun, and fabulous life. I'm Dr. Nicole Montero, your host on this weekly journey to unlocking your inner radiance, nurturing fulfilling relationships, and becoming the best version of yourself. Welcome back to the Secret Formula of Femininity. I'm your host and guide, Dr. Nicole, and I am so excited to kick off season 2 with you. This season, we are digging even deeper into feminine energy. Beyond the basics, season 1 was 34 episodes. It got you to this point, all of the basics. But we are helping you to fully step into your power, elevate your relationships, and embrace and experience love in a way that will truly transform your life. We are calling this season Next Level Feminine Energy because it's all about refinement, mastery, stepping out of the learning phase, right? A lot of us have been learning, reading, studying, and fully being, becoming, embodying the woman you desire to be. So we are taking it next level. So whether you're new here or you've been with me from the beginning, this is going to be a part of the journey that you don't want to miss. It's going to stretch you. This journey, I'm going to, through these episodes, challenge you. And most importantly, I'm going to help you elevate because you are going to understand that embodying next level femininity is where it's at. So let's go. I love a good story, and I want to start this season off with more of a personal story. It's really about my journey to feminine energy and peak femininity. And I would say it started about 15 years ago through my travels, through women that I interacted with, through the things that I saw that I didn't want to embody, to my vision of the kind of woman I truly wanted to become. But at first, I didn't know, right? I was in the learning stage. I thought it was just about performing, learning to be softer, learning to be more graceful, learning to receive, all of the things that you hear people saying. And I thought, okay, I got this. I can do this. But all of that is true. Yes, it's a stepping stone, it's a first step. But what I realized is that true feminine energy mastery isn't just about how you present yourself on the outside, it's really about the energy that you hold within. And that's what radiates and emanates outward. And so for me, the biggest shift came about 3 or 4 years into my journey when I stopped seeing femininity as something that I had to do, AKA perform, and started embodying it at my core, meaning it was in every cell, everything I believed, everything I thought, everything that I decided was driven by a connection to my core femininity. And I know many of you are at that place. It's like a crossroads, right? Do you keep performing and doing, or do you truly get into the place of being? So if you're ready for more, I can tell you that the next level of feminine energy, that glow, that attraction, next level love will absolutely blow your mind. And I hope you're here for it because I'm here for it as well. So, what exactly is next level feminine energy? It's about moving from one stage to the next. So, moving from learning to embodying. Learning is up here, embodying is your whole being. It's going from hoping to actually knowing. So, it's not just, I hope I can be softer, I hope I can be feminine, I hope I can attract healthy love. It's knowing that those things are in and of you. And it's going from practicing to being. If you ask any athlete, how do they get from the stage where they're just practicing their skills to knowing that they can do them on the spot at any time? And it is through practicing over and over, but it's also about mindset, belief, in the vision that you have for yourself. What is your identity? How do you identify yourself? So once you start identifying that you are a feminine woman, then it's like, how do you go from practicing to being? And we're going to talk all about that. So, next level feminine energy is about owning your magnetism effortlessly. You know that you have this attraction, you have this goodness, you have this light inside of you, and you own it. You don't have to think about it, it just is. It's about cultivating a deep and unshakable sense of self worth. Now, I'm previewing ahead, but I had an interview with a guest that is just going to blow your mind because she broke down this idea of self worth. And while we may say the phrase over and over, girl, know your worth, how many of us have a deep, unshakable sense of self worth? And let me give you a hint. Your self worth is demonstrated and measured by what you do, namely how you treat yourself. So we want you to treat yourself so well that it reflects the deep, unshakable self worth that you have for yourself. It's about understanding love and relationships on a deeper, more intuitive level. So that way you don't have to have a list of what you must have and deal breakers and red flags and green flags. You will know in your being if this person is right for you, is healthy for you, is good for you. It's very intuitive. It's about becoming emotionally intelligent and responsive because a feminine woman is not reactive. You're not controlled by your emotions and who said this and what people think because you have a deeper knowing inside of you. And next level feminine energy is about walking in your softness without sacrificing your boundaries. In fact, it's when you know that having boundaries is what allows you to be soft. So you know that they go together. And here's something that I really want you to understand. Next level femininity is not about playing small, shrinking yourself. I had a discussion with some women on social media and they got it all wrong about femininity. They were like, this is male centered, you're a pick me, you're playing small, and nothing could be farther from the truth. Next level feminine energy is about stepping into your true power as a woman. It's knowing your worth and embracing love from both the perspective of wisdom and grace. You look to those wise women who came before you. You look to the basic principles of love and relationships, masculine and feminine, and you learn how to be graceful as you go through life's challenges, as we all will. We will go through challenges in love and life and everything in between. So that is next level feminine energy. Now, don't think that this is a walk in the park because please know that every time you elevate, there's going to be challenges. There are forces trying to pull you back because they know that an elevated you is such a powerful version of you. So as we step into the next level of anything, whether it's working out, whether it's dealing with your fitness, whether it's your relationship, right? When you first get married, it's beautiful. After the honeymoon phase, there's some challenges. Each time you go to the next level and go deeper with something, there are going to be some challenges. So here's some things as we go into next level peak feminine energy that you might face, and I want you to be prepared for it. One is that fear of losing control is going to be activated. So letting go of the hyper independence, the I don't need anybody, I can do it by myself, and trusting divine timing, trusting your intuition, trusting that you don't have to control everything because it will be okay. That is scary, especially for the women who were raised to use their mind and their intellect and to go for their ambition and what they want out of life. And those are great characteristics and attributes. But what they can do is they can cut us off from that part of us that is not driven by rationality and intellect and logic, but it's driven by a deeper knowing of ourselves. And that only comes when we learn to sit with ourselves, when we learn to communicate better, with others, when we learn to express our needs while also being open to being shaped and molded a little bit and having feedback from others. So it's more of an interdependence versus being hyper independent. I can do it by myself. I don't need any help. And this is the thing, so many of us are burnt out from that hyper independent approach. But the reason we keep doing it, there's many reasons, but one of the main reasons is that it allows us to maintain the illusion of control. And I say illusion because we never truly have control, but sometimes we believe we have control. So, one of the things with peak feminine energy that's difficult for women as they get to the next level of feminine energy is being aware that they may fear losing control. And it's okay to have a fear. The key is to keep moving forward despite the fear, not letting the fear stop you. The second thing, and this is hard for a lot of women, you will face resistance. You will face resistance from other women. When you change, people will react. Every action has a reaction. And even if you think the action is just about the internal changes that you're doing for yourself, they are going to show up in how you are, how you walk through the world, how you show up, how you talk, how you feel about yourself. And that is going to create some reactions from other people. Some may love it. Now, my theory is that the right people love it, but some may not like it and they may be very vocal about it. It may be people that you don't even know. And I have decided that this is the year my peak feminine energy is about really speaking up and standing on business about the power of femininity. There are so many detractors, so many people who call themselves everything from feminists to activists to whatever, and they are talking out against femininity, feminine coaches. They're saying it's a scam. And my goal is to stand on business when it comes to femininity because a feminine woman is a self embodied woman. She's a woman who is confident, who knows her worth, who knows how to be in relationship, who knows how to express her emotional intelligence, who knows how not to argue and get involved in the weeds and in the chaos, but who can really see and has a vision for herself. And that's what I'm speaking up about. But please know that anytime you speak out about what's important to you, what you value, especially for women who are stepping into their femininity, there is going to be resistance. People are going to tell you that you think you're cute. People are going to tell you that you are barking up the wrong tree. People are going to tell you that you're acting new, that you're acting different. People are going to tell you that you've been brainwashed. People are going to say all types of things. But resistance is not a bad thing. It just means that you are gaining momentum, you're gaining traction, you're moving forward. So as long as you're prepared that resistance will happen, then hopefully you won't be surprised by it and then you won't have to react to it. Remember, a feminine woman is really able to demonstrate her emotional intelligence. So you don't have to react to everything. You can just take note and you keep going towards your vision. Now, there's another internal challenge that happens when you're hitting next level feminine energy, and that is your own emotional triggers. Each time you go deeper into your personal development, old wounds and past conditioning are going to emerge. I've talked to so many women that as soon as they start uh, making some progress, either they're establishing boundaries, they're communicating in their relationship, they're noticing that their partner is responding in a healthier way to them, it feels a little unsettling because it's like, wait a minute, they never expected that this type of change could happen. So it's almost like it tricks them into the mind says, well, wait a minute, this isn't really real. This is not what you're used to. So that old conditioning comes up where you sometimes revert back to some of the unhealthier, more toxic ways you might, abandon your soft, you might abandon your soft communication and just start, popping off at the mouth. You might abandon your softer communication and go for more abrupt, harsher way just because that's what you're used to. You may have wounds of feeling vulnerable, unprotected, not cared for come up, especially as you learn to let go of control. Because for many women, that was your worst fear, that you would not be in control, because you felt that if you weren't in control of everything, you would be taken advantage of. So as you start to trust your intuition more, know that you can relinquish control, know that you can be in a softer place, it will bring up some of the older fears, the older wounds, and the preconditioning that you had. And that's okay. That just means you're healing. Think about a wound, a physical wound. There's a part at first, okay, you know that the band-aid has been ripped off, it has to get better, but then there's a part of it where once it's healing, it starts to itch, it starts to hurt a little bit more. Parts of the skin are going through changes and you're going to feel it. So it is totally normal that this process would feel a little bit uncomfortable at times. I was listening to an interview with an exercise physiologist or something. He was talking about metabolism and how the body, the system loves equilibrium. So when you start losing weight, the body wants to bring you back to the previous level of equilibrium. So you might lose 5, 10 pounds, and then the brain starts creating cravings or telling you that you need to eat more because it's trying to get you back to that previous weight. So you have to be aware of that so that you don't give into it, right? And each time that you lose weight, your body's like, well, wait a minute, is this normal? Does she really want to do this? And the only way to keep going is to know that those fears and those cravings and those things trying to pull you back are going to be there, but you don't have to give into them. And that's the same with those old wounds and that old conditioning that comes up. You can just observe it, you can be aware of it, but you don't have to give into it. All right. And one of the biggest conditionings that women fall back into is hyper independence. You're not letting your man do anything for you. Heck, you're not even letting your girlfriends do anything for you. People around you, you are getting back into that I can do it all, what I call over functioning state. And it's hard for you to truly fall back and receive. The other challenge that comes up is, speaking of receiving, is a lot of us have a lot of struggles with receiving. But true feminine energy thrives in receptivity. Just think about female anatomy. We are a receptive physical being. But so many of us have been conditioned to reject help. Again, because it makes us feel weak, it makes us feel vulnerable. I can't tell you the number of women I've talked to who their biggest fear is to be seen as weak. And I said, well, wait a minute. You need to, first of all, get the Damsel Me Please t shirt and journal, my digital journal, the Damsel Me Please 30-day journal with prompts around helping you tap into your softness and the power of your vulnerability and how that connects you. Because women who are always in strong mode often feel very lonely. That's why even leaders of both genders, they need a trusted close circle, because when you're constantly out up front in the forefront leading, it feels very lonely. You don't know who you can trust. You don't feel that you can share your weaknesses or places where you need help. Now, if we bring it back to women who are trying to reach next level feminine energy, there's going to be that pull to take you away from your receptivity state, the state of receiving, because that core fear of being weak from your, it's not a core fear, it's more of a fear that comes from your particular traumas and wounds. And you feel that being weak puts you in danger. So, a lot of this work around receiving is learning to calm yourself, calm your nervous system, your body, reject negative thoughts about yourself and about connecting with others, and learn to allow yourself to be open. If you think about it, the only way to receive something is to be open. And think about all of the ways that we may be closed off to information, closed off to new ways of thinking, closed off to connecting with others. And that takes us out of our state of receiving. And receiving is one of the most powerful positions to be in. Because when you're in a state of receiving, it doesn't mean you accept everything, but you're open to receiving. And that is the only way you're going to get what's good for you. Now, your boundaries are what allow you to say, you know what? No, I'm not taking that, right? You get to choose. You're always in a position of getting to choose. But if you're closed off, you're always giving. Some of us are giving because it's more of a position of power, right? We have control. We feel like, nothing can get us because we're the ones giving, not knowing that we are really cutting ourselves off from so much when we're not in a state of receiving. So, you know that I always like to ground the things that I talk about in research and psychology as a psychologist myself and a researcher. And so I always like to reference what is the evidence for this? Now we know it's intuitive wisdom, but there's also research that backs it up. So, studies show that women who cultivate a healthy balance of feminine energy, that's embracing softness, nurturance, emotional intelligence, self care, and that they do it without losing self respect, they tend to have healthier relationships. Those are women that we can classify as being in a thriving state. They're not in defensive mode, they're not improving mode, and they're able to lean into the parts of themselves that are their feminine strength. So, research on relationship dynamics has found that men who are in touch with their masculinity often respond best to women who are in their feminine. It's that complementary nature that I talk about. So it's not just women who are in their performative femininity, but it's the kind of femininity that radiates confidence, warmth, emotional presence, softness, and the ability to communicate. So, a man in his masculine, we talk about wanting a masculine man, a healthy man, a provider, someone who's emotionally intelligent. Well, there are certain qualities that those types of men are attracted to. The same way you, as a woman who is walking in her feminine, is attracted to certain traits and qualities in a man. And if you notice, and I've done videos about how it's not just about your accolades, your accomplishments, your money. Not that those aren't an important part of who you are. You worked for it, but those aren't the things that make a relationship healthy and fulfilling. It's more about the emotional intelligence, the ability to connect, the ability to feel good within yourself and be fulfilled within yourself. So when you lean into that next level femininity, you are naturally going to attract a higher quality partner who values and protects you. That's just going to happen. You won't even have to say all the qualities that you don't want because those are not even going to be attracted to you. You are naturally going to create more emotional depth in your relationships. I hear a lot of women as they continue on their personal development journey saying that they don't like fake, they don't want to be around fake energy, right? They can feel energy. They don't want to be around um, small talk that seems empty with no point, right? They want to learn how to connect. Well, they have to be able to have deeper connections themselves if they're going to want that to be reciprocated in their relationships. And when you lean into that next level femininity, you inspire respect and devotion from the right man. We all want to be loved and adored and have devotion, right? That's what I hear women saying all the time. But that next level femininity where you embody it, not just talk about it, that's what's going to create it for you. And also, when you reach next level feminine energy, you actually build stronger, more peaceful connections. That's the combination, right? You want connections that are strong, but that are not defined by chaos, argumentation, trauma bonds. You want to be able to be with someone, especially in your relationship, and it can be peaceful and that not feel abnormal. That you don't need chaos to feel like it's loving and it's passionate. That you know that there can be calm waters and that there's still passion and love within that. So I talk about these things a lot in my book, The Boundaries to Bliss Blueprint, for women who are finally ready to win at love. And I also explain that connection between femininity and boundaries, because I think when we're too much on both of them, right? I always say femininity without boundaries is just reckless, because you're more in a state of performing femininity, thinking it's only about how you look, how you talk, and trying to be something that you're not, versus really tapping into those qualities: the warmth, the empathy, the emotional intelligence, the ability to connect, and the ability to let go of the illusion of control. So, as we kick off season 2, what are some of the tips for that next level feminine energy? One is to drop the performative femininity. Stop with the thinking that it's just, again, it's about hair, nails, and makeup, and then you're feminine, right? It's about knowing how to embrace your softness and knowing when to embrace other aspects of your strength. Tip number 2, heal your relationship with receiving. Really take some time to journal and think about and get help with that part of you that feels like you have to be hyper independent. You have to always be hyper productive. You can't rest, right? Know that receiving is about receiving love, care, and also the abundance that you want for yourself. If you have trouble receiving, it's time to really spend time unpacking that. Also, learn emotional self regulation. Ladies, we are grown at this point. So we have to learn to not let our emotions run us. We want to be emotionally aware, but we want to be able to honor our emotions while still walking in wisdom and grace. We don't need to argue and respond and go tit for tat with every little person or thing that comes in our way. We have to learn to control our emotions. Also, master the art of presence. When you're fully present, like this right here, eye to eye with somebody, then you're not as anxious about the future and you're not over analyzing the past or what you should do. You're able to become truly magnetic. That's what real charisma is that when you're in the presence of someone that you feel is charismatic, it's because it feels like they're present with you right now. And so you have to learn to embrace and master the art of being present, not just when you're with other people, but also with yourself. And then finally, of course, we can never talk about this if we don't talk about boundaries. Honor your boundaries. Your softness is not weakness, and your boundaries are what help to protect your peace. Stop saying yes to things that you truly do not want to do, no matter how good it looks or feels, or you think it might feel. Stop going after short term satisfaction or gratification at the cost of long term peace. Long term peace requires that we say no to some things right now because they're not going to benefit us, right? So when you have healthy boundaries, you attract other people that are going to honor your boundaries. I hear a lot of women talking about, oh, I I don't want to deal with any dusties and any men that aren't high quality. Well, when you become high quality, you're not going to attract those kinds of people. And of course, we are going to go deeper into each of these through this season. I have a lineup of guests that are just truly masters at what they do, and they're going to educate and inspire you on how to reach your next level of femininity. This season, I want to make sure that I get to even more of your questions. So feel free to DM me on Instagram or send me an email so that I can answer your questions in an upcoming episode. And if you want to know more about my inner circle community, the Boundaries to Bliss Society, you will also see a link in the show notes and you can send me a message if you have any questions. I hope this episode gave you a nice glimpse into what to expect for season 2. We are going to elevate together, myself included, and I cannot wait to go on this journey with you. If you love this episode, please don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with another woman that you know needs this in her life right now. Again, you can get my book and learn more about the Inner Circle, the Boundaries to Bliss Society in the show notes, and connect with me on Instagram at I am Dr. Nicole. Leave a comment. If you're on the YouTube family, make sure you leave a comment. The engagement helps so much. And if you want to just ask your question in the comments, I will certainly answer it right there. I want to know from you, what have you learned most about yourself on your feminine energy journey? Until next time, walk in your power, move with grace, and embrace the feminine energy that is already within you. I'm Dr. Nicole.